unacceptable. Sorry.
Let's carry on here.
Okay, so we're looking for your rationale then for rejection.
It wasn't, that's the reason. Oh,
Yeah.
you're asking. for
I'm
it.
looking for your rationale, yeah. So I think if I'm hearing correctly, lot size was a concern.
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
Yes, please.
If lot size is a concern here, we just, the previous motion says we need to go
Yeah.
consult, so we gotta be careful here.
Exactly.
What we do with one, we have to be consistent with both applications. How much time do we have on this one?
Well, they would like to know as soon as possible.
Oh,
right?
community planning.
Community
Yes,
plan,
community
yeah.
Yes.
It's-
And that's because it was rejected, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, the legislation was changed, so now you have to have, when you do a rejection, because the subdivision can now be appealed, you have to be able to provide rationale as to your rejection, so.
Mr. Chairman, that's why when I made that motion out there, I listened to the audience and I put that in my resolution, same thing with rights. That's why you have public hearings here. I'm going to support a rejection. I would like to hear what the other councils have to say. Again, is there an opportunity here?
And there may well be opportunity, but right now, they're
Yeah.
looking for the rationale as to why council rejected it at the last meeting.
So if council gives community planning, just so I'm clear, Mr. Chairperson, if we reject to do the lot size, that application is done.
Well, it's rejected now. They can either appeal it to the municipal board, or they can come up with a new plan and reapply.
Can we put that in there that if they come up with,
No, because
Okay.
then you're pre-approving something.
oh,
You
yeah,
can't do that.
Okay, Mr. Chairperson, I got another idea here. It's rejected. Can we reverse our decision? And
with conditions,
yeah, with a motion.
with
Well,
conditions, right?
no,
Because
just
of
to
the,
reverse.
because of the lane.
No.
Okay,
Okay,
carry on.
Mr. Chairperson. We just the previous motion, we need to do a study to perhaps get 2 or 3 or 4 more lots there. If we reject this one, we did, it's done. All we're looking for is a rationale. Can we give them the rationale, and if the council deliberates and comes up with good reasons to, if somebody wants to bring it to the next meeting to reverse our rejected motion, can we do that?
I don't know,
Yeah, that, because it's a subdivision. yeah.
because it's under the
challenging.
Planning Act. I'm not sure whether there's an opportunity for council to reverse the decision.
What happens if you don't come up with it?
Well, then they'll.
They'll just continue to send me a letter until you do.
They-
Can we postpone this till we find out if we can reverse it from community planning?
Yes, if you would like me to table this.
We just went through a municipal hearing. I learned a lot. okay?
Oh,
If we reject this and they appeal it, then our minutes will indicate the motion before that, we just approved something. So we're not doing things in good faith here, folks. And we're not professional planners and all that.
I think we need to postpone it to see if we can find out what our options are in a reversal. And then if that is possible, then you can put the conditions in there to try and help them out with their decision on doing it the right way. If that lane is on private land, that was one of the biggest concerns, right? If they can rework their plan to make it work, then that's something that should be taken into consideration.
Again, I'm gonna speak from, as a municipality as a whole, long term, not today or tomorrow. Maybe it's time we get our community planners together. If they get a recommendation, they might have, because that's what they do for a living. We just talked to them for hours on that gravel pit. They came up with some good ideas. Maybe they have a simple solution here that will satisfy everybody. Just a thought I had. It will require a few dollars, but I'm thinking long-term, maybe a little bit of investment on our part will be a long-term forever investment.
So I moved it and it would be, I would say the table it for more information and
To obtain further information.
to retain more information. And that can be evolved into finding out also the procedure of re-reviewing the application. If that's proper wording.
That is what- To obtain further information.
Read that back to us.
Yeah, be it resolved that we do hereby table the agenda item to obtain further information.
Okay. Anybody else wish to speak to that?
No,
We've got a mover and a seconder.
Yes. Bob and Emma.
I will call for the question. All in favor?
Yeah.
I lost my name. Okay, next item on the agenda then is a request for concurrence for Rogers Communications Tower at Park Northwest 16-10-19 WP.
We would need a mover and a seconder.
We'll make that motion because we're on the table for more towers. Get better sense. Be resolved that the Army of Cornwallis has no objection to the approval of the application to locate a Rogers Communications and Telecommunication Tower at PT Northwest 1610-19 WPN, provided all necessary permits from Keystone Planning District and other authorities of jurisdiction in the matter have been obtained prior to construction of the cell tower. Be it further resolved that the municipality has been satisfactorily consulted as outlined within the Industry Canada's CPC 2003 Radio Communication and Broadcasting Antenna Systems Circular.
We need a seconder. Anybody wish to speak to that?
Yeah, we put the application and Brad, I thought, put a nice letter together. And at the end of the day, I think everybody, if they're like me, I'm always in favor of more cell service. Shut off once in a while. Hopefully that improves it in that area. Whoever's
Anybody else wish to speak? I will call for the question. All in favor?
Just one question, where exactly is this tower?
it's
50th Street. 50th Street.
not too far from Sunnyside.
No,
That's in
it's
that.
right by the hydro plant on 50th Street.
And how tall is the tower?
It's right.
The reason I ask, I have a Rogers tower on my property, which is a mile away from there. I have a long-term lease with it. It makes sense to me that they're putting a tower up a mile away.
35 meters, 100 feet.
Okay, so it's just small.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Tripole tower.
There are no delegations this evening. Any reports of committees? We had no reception of petition communications.
Motion be resolved that the following communications be received and filed. As presented, there's three of them. Battle West Communications Municipal Board, order number B22-004, and the Manitoba Ag Hall of Fame annual report.
We'll need a seconder for that.
Oh, second.
Anybody wish to speak to that?
Yeah, that municipal board there, Mr. Chairperson. There's some good information in there. gonna ask you, Mr. Chairperson, to call a meeting solely on the gravel pit licensing bylaw and everything. All the answers that we're looking for, I think, have been given to us. I think it's time we call a meeting, get the wheels in order, because there's nobody stopping Wrestle Ready Mix. Plain enough, they try. Come back in November, now that it's rejected, go through the same process. If we're not gonna put anything in writing, folks, there's gonna be other applicants coming along the way. Here, our answers are pretty well right from us. I think you need to call a meeting, Mr. Chairperson, some evening with input from the residents. They're gonna come knocking on our door, and I think it's time. It's 2 months removed now. It's time to.
That's a big deal.
You're the chair. You pick it. I'm willing to, like I said the other night, willing to work till midnight to get it rolling. Get some ideas on the table. to
What
solve
we
this
got on
problem.
the docket in the near future that I don't want to interfere with those, with the other meetings, if we call a special meeting for the 48 hours.
I don't think we have anything next week. I'd have to check the calendar to see if anybody's in here too, so.
Yeah, because the room is fairly busy with the RCMP lately, so.
With my work schedule, Mr. Chairperson, I'd appreciate you calling for 7 o'clock.
Yeah, we can do.
And give the residents, in all
We
fairness,
can do that too.
those residents there, they brought us a lot of information.
I want
for
to
us
make it available for everybody to have the opportunity. So what we'll do is we'll get Donna to check to make sure that we're not overlapping anything with her schedule and the rest of us, and we'll do it by email, if that's not fair.
That's fair.
Okay. We're at calling for the question, correct?
Yes.
I will call for the question, all in favor.
Item 8, accounts and finance. First item, 8.1, approval of accounts.
I'll make that motion. Be resolved that the payroll and general accounts be approved for payment. The grand total of $286,946.72. Further resolved that utility accounts be approved for payment. Total of $490.94. Be it further resolved that council indemnity accounts in the amount of $6,975.83 be approved.
We need a seconder for that.
I'll second that.
Anybody wants to speak to that?
Yes, I got a series of questions.
Pardon?
I got a series of questions on the accounts. It's on page. On any update. Please, I got it. Okay. On the first page. The bill from Burns Mandel Consultant Engineers, aggregate gravel tender, etc. $23,500. Is that just for the gravel tender? It says etc. That's what I'm asking.
No, it's not just for the gravel tender. That one will also include part of the municipal board hearing.
Yeah,
I can go and grab them.
I heard the other night, I've never seen an invoice. That's the first time I've seen something on paper. We heard the other night on Zoom, it was 12,500. So
I
So
think
the
it was 10,230. Yeah.
Who said it was 12,500?
10,000 something.
You said 12,500.
When Mr. Chairperson, I'll address you. The reason I said 12,000, if you look at the indemnity, I look at true costs, the best I can. The engineer cost us that much. And then there's other associated costs with it. And I used that 10.4 for the first time I heard that's what it was. And I added the other costs because we met 3 times and I didn't charge. I don't look at counselor's indemnity. I'm assuming counselor's charged to sit down with the engineer to hash over the GPS and the gravel tender. We did our due diligence. So it comes to, but I heard 10. I added 2 for the indemnity and mileage and all that. But what I'm questioning here is 23,500, so there could be some of
Yeah,
those
'cause
costs
she's
associated.
got aggregate slash
Okay.
gravel tender. Yeah,
Also, it was part to do with the
part of
municipal.
the hearing. Yeah.
Okay, well, that's fair. We say, this is our bread and butter of the municipality, so when I put my hand up to approve or disapprove, I want to make sure I'm clear on the expenditures. Heritage Co-op fuel, 11,145.
Mhm.
Then there's another one, 2 pages later, 6362. Is that a different month? So that's 18 grand. Is that fuel?
Yeah, they bill us only once a month, so it would
Yeah.
depend on when the bill comes in and when we can get it paid.
I got it. Fuel's over $2 a liter. Bill keeps reminding us. Yeah, okay. So the 28,300 was for the municipal
Board hearing.
board here. That's why I asked the question to the previous communication. When you see these bills, we need to set ourselves up so if another conditional use application comes, we've got a document saying, these are the rules to go by, because we spent $50,000 on a hearing that could have been prevented. With council's due diligence, I'm including me, I'm saying council, okay, so. Money needs 1275, what did we buy?
Fence posts, with sign posts.
1,276.
Yeah.
No, that's fair.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Total works truck and equipment.
That's the water truck safety
Safety.
and repair. Yeah. We had some repairs that had to happen with
Okay.
the safety
So, and that unit, because of the size, has to be done.
every
Here.
year.
Folks, we need to do an analysis. When you take this, the fuel and all that, there's contractors out there that do this, whether it's Bowling Gold or Liquid Prairie. I would really like for us to work hard, do an analysis to deal with 10,000 gallons in a $1,200 truck. When you start seeing these costs, boy, that's, this is gonna be annual. We can do a lot of rental of semi-trailers for 35.93. We haven't even paid the fuel yet. So I'm just bringing this up. I asked that about in January. We need to do an analysis before we start embarking on too many more expenses. Urban systems, again, for the audience, 13,400 was for the municipal water. You know, USTI. I have no idea what that is.
That's our accounting program. That's the company that supplies our accounting program.
That's our annual subscription.
Yeah, just for the accounting program.
We budgeted 20,000
Yes.
for
Because then we,
software.
yes, because we have our AllNet software as well. So that's our website, our minutes.
So out of that 20, 11 comes out of there. Okay, no, that's fair.
Yeah.
Westman HR for hiring. Full tilt towing and transport equipment hauling, $393. What did we all?
It's probably too long, get a grader out of the ditch, probably.
Mhm.
Okay. That would make sense because I thought to ourselves, we bought a trailer
The.
to haul equipment and now we're renting full tilt. And I'm all for contracting it out. That's what they do for business.
Rather than when the grader hit the ditch on the
Okay.
road, right?
Mr. Chairperson and CEO, Council Brown might have answered the question greater. Possibly, we don't.
It might have. Oh, no, that was moving the Kubota Mini X with mulcher to Spring Valley Road from Regent Ranges.
To do the ditches for the
Yeah.
trees.
Yeah.
Okay, so
And then we moved it Hoops Loop to Patricia Avenue. These, yes, these were invoices from last year, December. And I'd gotten an email from Full Tilt saying that you haven't paid your bill, and I said, we didn't get the bill. So
Okay.
that was for moving the machine that we rented last year.
No,
Yeah.
that spawns another question here. Did we buy a trailer to move these pieces of equipment? Sitting down there.
I'm going to assume that it was overweight and we couldn't move it, so.
Okay, fair question. Fair question.
Or Full Tilt could be the contractor for,
Okay, Milco Steel, trailer safety, is that safety in our trailer?
yes, that's an annual safety as well.
So we're gonna be paying $500 a year for trailer that's used a little bit. But, so we're on the hook there for 480, for $500 a year. Now we're towing around, okay, that's fine. Okay, mini site meeting support, what was that?
So that
Yeah.
muni site,
Yep,
that's our all net now.
this,
So when it says meeting support, that's our all net meetings.
okay,
So that's our council meeting.
that's our annual subscription.
Yep.
$2,200.
Yes,
$200.
Yeah.
Public Works truck, is it still on the warranty? The repair, or,
that was 2018, so no, I think that's an oil change.
oh, okay,
598. Yeah, that's an oil change.
okay. Prince's Auto Supplies, 227. Our auditor told us a couple of years ago, any tools we buy, we need to start building an inventory list. Is that,
I would say that that's not
No.
tools, but bolts and.
Likely sign bolts.
it says shop supplies, right?
Absorbent dry can paint, or not paint, but it's some kind of absorbent supreme. The paper towel for down there, the shop paper
Yeah,
towel,
no,
all season washer fluid.
that's not inventory, but
Yeah,
those are supplies.
small engine fuel, fix it, a syringe for that. Chain,
I have a question. I'm kind of confused, as the counselors, are the counselors aware of the breakdown of these costs?
Mr. Chairperson, that's why I'm asking, John.
No, I'm asking this question because when I look at that, I mean, I look at the invoices, and if I'm making a decision to approve to approve this, I would like to look at the invoices. Is there any of the counselor here who look for these invoices to
Yes.
verify
and
them?
our invoices are all signed off every month by a council member.
By all council members?
No, it's been set up that it's always been one council member, and generally it is the chair of the finance committee. That's how our policy has been set up. So if council wishes, they have to change that policy.
Well, it would save a lot of questions, what I'm asking, you know, like, why is that information not given from the finance, to the rest of the councils?
Next one I really struggle with. Giant car wash, truck wash. What truck was washed? For $60. That's 1 hour. That truck was in the wash bay. Mr. Chairperson, you gave us a good lead to a cheap car wash up at the airport for $6 a minute. Folks, $56 to wash a truck. That's something is going south here, folks.
That might not be for one time. I don't know the situation, but there is an account there.
At Giant.
3 washes.
3 washes.
Hey, that's fair then. I mean, when I look at that.
There you go.
But
A lot of manufacturers in town set up an account there because they don't want the individual taking the truck there from the company and them issuing money for them to pay it, because you can't keep track of it.
so it's still,
So the account, if it's set up on account, they would send the bill here. right? And then Donna allocates the money for it, the same as everybody else does.
Like, that's still $18 a wash when,
That's exactly what it cost me to wash mine.
yeah, but you told us we can.
There is
for
one
six-
up there.
For $6, right?
There is one up
Let's
there
look at
for
that.
$6.30, but it is pretty dark inside. I wash my truck up there, and because it's dark in there, I come out and it looked like it was only about 3/4 washed.
Mhm.
So you gotta weigh the pros and cons.
Yeah, that's fair.
I totally get what you're talking about,
Mhm.
and I
The
can
money.
acknowledge it, you know what I mean, but.
Why are we even discussing this? This is day-to-day maintenance for any business, your business, my business.
Well, my,
I mean,
Mr.
that's
Chairman.
part
my problem is.
We,
with council,
Let's, we're gonna keep on track
Yeah,
here.
I think with the rising fuel costs, we really need to make a matrix or a database. I want to know how much gasoline and how much fuel, not me. I think council, it'd be a good tool to get co-op. I'm sure they can put it in an Excel spreadsheet. How much fuel are we burning? I mentioned it before, bring it up. We can start measuring here, because when I look at these two last statements, we just approved the budget $80,000 for fuel. We're not gonna have enough, folks. So I think we need to start trending and looking at opportunities, implement maybe free idle. It might be small to the big dealers out there with big money, but I think for the taxpayers, we need to look at, start asking questions, folks. These are tight times and challenging times. It's up to us to question, it's up to me, I'm not gonna put words in your mouth, to question every expenditure, and I don't care what other taxpayers think about it. This is taxpayer money. We're getting paid to sit here, let's ask the questions. Keystone planning fees, 25, is that an annual?
No, that's not, Sam.
What is that?
That would be application permit fees that were received in our office through our debit machine, and then we send the money over to Keystone.
Is there a charge for these debit transactions? No. Okay. No, I mean, are we getting charged at our bank?
No.
So. They're free. Okay. When I look at the employees, do we have a program or a process for overtime for our employees?
So public works employees are paid out overtime.
Yeah, no, okay, yeah, they're paid out overtime. Like, somebody has to approve overtime. I mean, that's not just good business sense, a supervisor has to approve it. And also, how much overtime in percentage based on for their 80 hours or 84, whatever their paycheck is? Do we know on our database what percentage of our expenditure is actually overtime?
I could tell you that.
Okay, I think council, we need to look at that because times are gonna get tight, so we need to start looking at ways to reduce our overtime, because when I look at some of these payouts, realize that snow. I want taxpayers to hear me, but snow has to be cleared, but I don't think we need to work overtime, and I think that ratepayers will understand out there to deal with washboards. I think there's ways we can manage it through a GPS system. Yep, the large pay, that one for the planning members pay up.
Yeah.
Now, this. Yes. I'm really concerned, folks, with the indemnity. Yes, we basically passed a resolution, no increase, but if we look at the indemnity of some council members, we need maybe just talk about it amongst ourselves. What's in their necessary expenditures? Going to conventions, and I'm a firm believer, we're gonna go spend taxpayers' money, we've got to bring a report back, and it needs to add value to the taxpayers at the end of the day. The one councilors pay almost double, and I think we need to use better discretion. Yeah, when I looked at that number on the budget, that's a lot of money, folks. We need to hone in. So that's the questions I got.
Where are we at? Anybody else have anything?
Can we comment on that one thing on there?
Not supposed to unless you're on a delegation.
Okay.
We're at the question, right?
We're at the question.
Okay, I will call for the question. All in favor of accepting it the way it is. Opposed?
Just too many unknowns for me.
We are moving on to. Sorry,
I'm just making sure I got it all. We are at financial statement,
oh, sorry.
item 8.3.
I'll make that motion be resolved that the financial statement for the 3 months ended March 31st, 2022 be hereby received as presented.
We need a seconder for that.
Second that.
Anybody wish to speak to that?
I got a question if the mover and the seconder don't have any.
Go ahead.
Yep, to the CEO, Mr. Chairperson. Donna, can you go to page 18? There was a text I received when these things get posted on the balance sheet for the Chater Utility Reserve Fund.
Yes.
Okay. Help me if I explained it to that utility user. It says fund balance. When I look at that, 134,214.56, I'm not an accountant, folks. I would basically say that's cash in the bank.
For this particular account, that's exactly
Good.
correct, Sam.
Okay, now. Good.
And that was as of last year.
Yeah.
Yeah,
On the next page, text, there is a line item of about accumulated surplus, 800 and some thousand.
yeah, so that'll be on our balance sheet then.
Okay, just give me 1 second. Now, when I look at it as a non-accountant, and I don't profess to be an accountant,
No, it's probably
okay,
under the. That's probably
Okay.
under the,
it's under the utility balance sheet, Chater Utility.
oh,
Fund balance,
okay.
867,000. A non-accountant
Oh,
person
on
like
your
me
balance sheet.
would look at that and think there's 867,000. That's at the worth of the asset, correct?
That's correct. Your tangible capital assets are included within that balance.
So basically, I mean, for everybody here, again, I don't work with,
Mhm.
I'm not an accountant. When you really look at that, the total accumulated surplus, it looks like there's money there, but really there isn't.
That's correct.
It's what the asset is worth.
But what, is there a way we can, it's a good point. I I seen that number there before and I thought it was, so I explained it right. So
Yeah, yeah.
just for the audience, for
Yeah.
for utility users, or for anybody now. Next question I got on the RM side now,
On the
when we're
operating side.
talking accumulated surplus,
Mhm.
is it dealt with the same way? Because if the utility is showing 867,000 in accumulated surplus, somebody could basically assume that there's 867,000. What does it show on the municipality operating side?
So on the municipality operating side, it shows an accumulated fund balance of 5,055,644.73. But if you go up to the tangible capital asset side, the tangible capital assets, their balance is $4,055,559.04. So if you take your,
What, Mr. Chairperson, what
oh,
page?
sorry, page 2, Sam, right,
Okay.
right near the top.
That's, I mean,
So that's your tangible capital assets.
okay, just hang on. Okay, the word intangible.
Yeah.
So the 5 million. At the utility, you've got a pump house, you've got water lines, you've got curb stops. What equates to 5 million here? The way I look at it, we've got more than $5 million worth of assets out there.
We sure do, but these are the assets that are currently on the books. Including their depreciation amounts as well. So, this is our,
Okay, no,
Yeah. all of those items that are listed there on page number 1 and 2.
Is there
That's all the
anything else?
question I have.
Is there anything else? I will call for the question. All in favor? Opposed?
Just not enough clarity.
Okay, so then we go to item number 9, bylaws. First item is bylaw number 170704, 2022. It's your 2022 mill rate bylaw for second reading.
Need a mover?
I'll make that motion be resolved. We do hereby give second reading to bylaw number 170704, 2022, being bylaw to establish the 2022 mill rates.
Need a seconder for that? Anybody wish to speak to that?
Yes, Mr. Chairperson, so that's the 3% mill rate. Right?
Yeah.
Did we ever get the number, what that 171,000 from the transfer?
I'm sorry, I
Yeah,
haven't had
haven't
a
had-
chance to do that.
Anybody else wish to speak to that?
Yeah. One more question.
Sure.
The 3%, what is that in dollars raised? But there's a person that asked me to ask that, and I think it's watching online. The 3% approximately, it don't have to write down to the cent, see it.
I'm going to,
Yeah.
I'm gonna say around 55,000. But I'll confirm that for you because I don't have that in front
Yeah,
of me.
that's fine.
Anything else?
That's it for me.
I'll call for the question. All in favor? Opposed?
Next item then is bylaw number 170704, 2022, 2022 mill rate bylaw, third and final reading.
Need a mover?
Now make that motion be resolved. We do hereby give third and final reading to bylaw number 170704, 2022, being a bylaw to establish the 2022 mill rates.
Seconder for that? Anybody wish to speak to that?
Yes, Mr. Chairperson. I didn't have much to say at the first. I had a question on the second reading, but the third reading, I want the people to understand why I did not support the mill rate. We've spent numbers of hours deliberating on the budget. We asked for people's input. They gave it to us. I believe there was items on the table that we could and should have took into consideration to deal with that 3%. Yes, the bylaws are 3%, but what's really concerning is start digging into the $171,000 into the reserve. We have to operate, folks. I don't think we worked hard and long enough to reduce the mill rate at a time, folks. There's challenging times out there. I'm thinking of our farmers right now. They're going to be only going to have their seed in the ground. We could have done better. I really believe we could have done better, and that's why I left this to the third reading. It's going to be final. I think there's an opportunity to go back if council would be so willing. We got a lot of leads in October, or suggestions, not leads, October, January, and even during council deliberation meetings when people spoke up, there was opportunities there, and we missed the boat. We didn't listen to our own shareholders enough. So that's my reason for not supporting the 2022 3% property tax.
Anybody else wish to speak to that? I will call for the question. All in favor? Opposed?
The order of general business, the first item is RCMP first quarter report from Blue Hills area.
I'll make a motion to see reports from the Blue Hills.
Seconder for that?
Second motion.
Anybody wish to speak to that?
I really enjoyed when the RCMP chairperson used to come and explain the whole thing, but I know they're shorthanded and probably COVID had something to do, but it's a little learning curve for me, what they're faced with out there. So first opportunity, whoever talks to them, they're more than welcome to come back and hear what they,
I think they realize that too.
yeah, absolutely.
And,
They're taxed.
the information that they pass on, some of it is confidential.
Yeah,
As
absolutely.
well, because of their situations, right? But.
Yeah.
With that, is anybody else wish to comment? I will call for the question, all in favor to accept it the way it is.
Next item on the agenda then is the peddling policy.
Well, I'm stepping out because this is a personal I believe, so I'm stepping out on this.
We'll need a mover. We'll need a mover. Put it on the table.
I can't move that because I put my motion out on the table in March. And it's totally different. So, and council didn't have input for this, so I don't know where this policy came from. So I would say we just move on. I'm not gonna move or second. I'll second it if somebody has some input. I like to be fair to put it on the table for advice, but, or for discussion. But that's not the intent of my resolution in the first place. So. I didn't have any input, Mr. Chairperson. Don't look at me to move it. I have no idea where this motion came from.
Okay,
Move on.
let's move on.
Next item on the agenda is 11.3, Year of the Garden, 2022.
We'll need a mover.
Oh,
second.
I'll read it out. Long-winded.
Yeah.
Whereas communities in bloom. Now, why, Mr. Chairperson, I don't know French, so try my French. And I don't want anybody to chastise me here. Actually, we could get John to do it. I'm sorry. The communities in bloom and Franz de Quebec. Don't try to side me, folks. In collaboration with the Canadian Garden Council, invite all municipalities to celebrate the Year of the Garden 2022. Whereas the Year of the Garden 2022 celebrates the centennial of Canada's horticulture sector, whereas gardens and gardening contribute to the quality of life of our municipality, our climate action goals, and create safe and healthy places where people can come together in the spirit of inclusivity and reconciliation. Whereas the Year of the Garden 2022 will highlight and celebrate the important contribution of gardeners, our local gardening organizations, horticultural professionals, and local horticultural businesses, which contribute to the garden culture and experience of our municipality. Whereas gardens and gardening have helped us face the challenges of the COVID pandemic. Now, therefore, be it resolved, here's some time here, be it resolved that the rural municipality of Cornwallis hereby proclaims 2022 as the Year of the Garden in celebration of the contribution of gardens and gardening of the development of our country, our municipality, and the lives of our citizens in terms of health, quality of life, and environmental challenges. And that the Saturday before Father's Day, National Garden Day, June 18, 2022, be recognized as Garden Day in the RMF Rural Municipality of Cornwallis as a legacy of Canada's Garden of the Garden 2022. And that the rural municipality of Cornwallis is committed to be a garden-friendly municipality, supporting the development of its garden culture, and proud to have the community of Spruce Woods, which has formed a garden club to bring the gardening community together to share their experiences and mentor those new to gardening. Spruce Woods Garden Club is undertaking refurbishment of the raised flower beds at our Lady of Shiloh Chapel and the Shiloh Faith Center. Bring life back to the garden will provide beautification and a peaceful setting for the military community to enjoy, and that all municipalities across Canada be invited to proclaim 2022 to be the year of the garden in their representative municipalities, and that a copy of this resolution be provided to FCM and for that purpose.
Second
Second.
motion.
Anybody wish to speak to that motion?
Yeah, that's a great gesture, yeah, and whoever's driving that in Spruce Woods, I think that's a great thing what they're doing there.
Heather.
Heather?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a big thank you to Heather, if she's listening.
Yeah.
Let's, and there's some things in there when I read it. People in Taylor have more garden since COVID because it's a good therapy, and I'm one of them.
Anybody else wish to speak to that? I will call for the question, all in favor. I was waiting.
Yeah, no, I'm in favor of that. Catching my breath here.
Item 11.4 is the electronic meeting policy.
I will make that motion. And be it resolved that the real municipality of Cornwallis hereby adopts the following guidelines as policy associated with electronic meetings. 1, electronic meetings will only be available for public hearing participants who cannot attend in person. 2, electronic meetings will only be available for council members' use when unable to attend in person. Other electronic meetings will be used at the discretion of the municipality. 4, the posting of meetings via YouTube will be discontinued. 5, should public health orders change council, should public health orders change, council may make provisions as necessary. And I would like to add 6 to it. And why I'm making this motion is basically, we're in a election year. I believe this should be a moratorium basically on having it broadcast out there. We're not keeping people from coming. They can come to the staff, come in, sit here. But on the number 6, I'd like it to say that this can be revisited once election has been completed.
Question, why would you bring that motion to the table now?
Second.
Anybody wish to speak to that?
Yeah, I'd like to speak first. I've had people getting a hold of me, just saying that it's a really good way to be doing campaigning on our time at the ratepayers' expense. If there's going to be any campaigning done, it should be at the people that are going to be running his expense. So that's why I'd like to have this.
Mr. Chairperson, the questions. When we approve the accounts, this subscription is already paid for, correct?
That was the all-net meetings.
But I mean, that's part of it. Mr. Chairperson, when COVID hit, I believe it was you, Mr. Chairperson, you worked diligently with the CEO to get the screens, the owl, and I think it was a great thing. We had 2 engagement meetings, I believe, at least, meaning open for any questions. We showed people what we're doing out there, projects and all, given out there. I think it's a great tool. The whole world's going to electronic, especially folks the price of fuel. We want to minimize our traffic on our roads. What a great tool this is. The door's still open. This is going back against your commitment, Mr. Chairperson, in 2018, when the video is still on YouTube, that you want to collaborate and go out on Facebook and make it open to the public what we do. As a council, to me, this is an attempt to hide what we're doing. I hate to say it, folks. This is going against the transparency that a few of us campaigned in 2018. If this, you can be guaranteed if the people that in the fall, Councilor Brown is right, this is a policy, this will get abolished as soon as people honest and people that want to be servants to the public, this will be abolished as soon as basically they get elected. This is an insult to the ratepayers, and we're trying to be public servants too. I want them to watch us, to see. I raised a lot of questions tonight. They understand I'm not an accountant. If it takes an hour, I'll keep doing it. If I get criticized by business people that, why are we going through this? I really don't care what those business people say. The balance sheet, folks, is what makes this municipality strong. We need to be transparent and not be ashamed and scared that we're being watched, in my opinion. And yeah, there's some serious things going on here in this municipality that we want to hide, but in my opinion, we're going backwards. We've paid for it. It doesn't cost anything, like Councilor Brown is saying. It's almost like what he just said. We're wasting money. It's paid for. We bought the equipment. You may as well put it up for sale if that's the case.
Anybody else wish to speak to it?
Well, just to close. I said number 6 would be, can be revisited after the election and stuff. This isn't making a policy that it's out the door.
Makes sense to me at all.
Now, what's your opinion?
You guys ran on transparency, now you're going against transparency.
We're not in a debate here.
I understand
So
that.
I'm
So
sorry.
just so I'm clear, I'm sure the folks out there, they don't ask the question.
All I'm
So
saying
at the discretion of the municipality, can somebody explain to the ratepayers out there, how do you measure discrepancy? Mr. Chairperson, or Brown, discretion. How?
Discretion, but.
Well, your new other electronic meetings will be used at the discretion of the municipality. What's wrong for the people to listen in like the meeting we had? We had good discussions from 6 o'clock to 7 o'clock, where our budget, 70% of it is taken up by the transportation. What's wrong, people listening to where we spend the money? Because I tell you folks, I learned from these people out there. I don't have the answers. I listened to them. In the last 2 months, I have changed my opinion on certain items on just because they listened to us and they say, Councilor Hofer, I think you read. I asked, why, how are you thinking? And it's starting to make sense to me. We're going to shut the door on. We're basically shutting the door on our shareholders that put us in these chairs. So this discretion, I want to know.
Well,
What,
I would say discretion, in my mind, would be if there was a specific thing like we were having with the Chater wastewater. That would be, I wanted to go on the waves, if you want to say. There's other meetings that can be held without using discretion.
Mr. Chairperson, let's debate this. Maybe YouTube is not the right answer if it's on there for life. As council, I wasn't involved in this discussion. I brought this in March, totally different what it reads now. I always like to debate things. Have we thought about, is there a mechanism, reach out to NetSet to take the meeting, put it on the website for a month? I don't know. We're closing the door to something here that I do believe our ratepayers in general like. We've got at least 10 letters. Now, we didn't do a survey, but I got one idea from, we all got it from one ratepayer that had some good ideas in there. It shouldn't be, we shouldn't basically allow criticism while we're in debate here. Shut the chat off, okay? Good idea. I never thought about it that way, but let's open it up. Maybe we can tape the meeting for leave it on the municipal website for a month, delete it. Electronic things are, it's the way for the future, folks. Especially with the gas prices, people would rather, at least most people, I think, would rather stay at home if they have that opportunity. That's my take on it.
I don't have a problem with it being on Zoom. The problem I have is it being accessible to everybody in the world when it's on YouTube because of the judgment that goes with that. I enjoy getting together with our residents, whether it's in person or whether it's on the Zoom. I was the one that suggested all this equipment. The rest of council agreed to it. I am not condemning it 110%. The only part I have a problem with, and that's just my personal opinion, is when we went to Zoom, it changed the dynamics of the whole situation. To have it on, or sorry, YouTube. When we have it on the Zoom, we were struggling when we had it on AllNet. That was not working because we had no control. And that is on for everybody to see. We couldn't control the microphones. There was people miking in. It was very, very disturbing. From this aspect of this chair, you have no respect from that point. And it's got to work both ways. So my idea is that we table this policy so we can rewrite it so that it changes the dynamics. Unless you want to do it tonight, I don't have a problem with that. The part I would like to see is that it's on the Zoom aspect for everybody to log in as a link and try and figure out how to make that link so it works for individuals that they can get on there without struggling. It's the YouTube aspect that I have a problem with, but I'll go with whatever way the people want.
I have a question for you, just a question. And I know I'm not allowed to speak, but I'll, just one point. I listened to you at the Spruce Woods Hall when you ran for election. Transparency was your main focus.
And it still is.
So what I'm saying to you, so if somebody can't be available to watch the Zoom meeting, how will they ever know what happens and transpires in the meeting? If with YouTube, you can go back and look at it at any time. So not everybody is available at that exact time, every time a meeting is in place. It's a great reference tool.
It is. Under the municipal act, we are not obligated under the municipal act to put any of this on.
There's many RMs who have this,
And there's many that haven't even started it.
but there are many that have them.
I know.
They run efficiently. I have watched them.
Mr. Chairperson, maybe YouTube was the wrong place to put it, okay? But we're ready to shut the door on something special, in my humble opinion. Have we reached out to NetSet to see if there is an alternative? Like I said, do exactly what we're doing now instead of putting it out on YouTube. Is there something cost effective that we can put it to our own website to basically for ratepayers that they have to log in to view the meeting that was taped? I
don't have a problem with doing it that way as long as it's our ratepayers. The problem I have when it's on YouTube is it's accessible to the And then you're being judged by other municipalities, possibly,
Mr. Chairperson, you ever watch Ottawa, the House of Commons?
No.
You've never watched it? Well, I'm just thinking, I mean, I don't, okay,
no,
but that's a people's choice if they want to log on. Like, you have to be getting into the 21st century. What
so
people want.
can we move ahead and we'll table this and get Donna to see if she can find out if it can be recorded on AllNet and then get back. She can get back to us at the next meeting and we'll figure it out, or what? What do you want to do?
Well, we got a motion on the table, and I'm willing to table it if it's okay with the seconder to table it for more information on maybe better ways. of
Different possibilities.
Dealing with this.
Right.
I mean, it's no different than not having CPAP. How would the people of Canada not know what's going on?
Mr. Chairman. Call for the question of the tabling of
To
it.
table it, okay,
For more information.
I will call for the question. All of it.
Next item on the agenda, 11.5, is the asset management policy.
I'll make a motion for that. Okay, long-winded again. Be it resolved that we hereby adopt the following as the asset management team, terms of reference for the rural municipality of Cornwall.
What's the number for that?
See the computers.
Jiggered again.
Okay, I can't see.
How about if I,
Yeah,
so
I
this,
can't
I'll read
open
it for you. So asset management policy, item 11.5, be it resolved that we do hereby adopt the following is the asset management policy for the rural municipality of Cornwallis. Purpose? The purpose of this policy is to set guidelines for implementing consistent asset management processes within the rural municipality of Cornwallis. The scope? This policy applies to all rural municipality of Cornwallis departments, officers, employees, and contractors. Objectives are to ensure adequate provision is made for the long-term replacement of major assets by making sure that services and infrastructure are maintained in an affordable manner within the acceptable level of service by designating appropriate funding within the annual budget, developing and implementing appropriate asset management strategies, providing training to all employees about their roles and responsibilities as they pertain to asset management, and meeting legislative requirements for asset management, demonstrating a transparent asset management process. Policy background. Asset management practices impact directly on the core business of the rural municipality of Cornwallis. The RM commits to responsible asset management to meet our social, economic, and environmental obligations now and in the future. By adopting an effective plan, the RM of Cornwallis is better able to achieve the objectives of their strategic plan. Sound asset management practices help the RM to continue to deliver an acceptable level of service by integrating resident values, priorities within specified budget. Principles of the RM of Cornwallis make certain these make adequate provisions for the long-term planning, financing, operation, maintenance, renewal, upgrade, and disposal of capital assets by ensuring that the RM provides for its capital assets in a manner that respects financial, cultural, economic, and environmental sustainability, meeting all relevant legislative and regulatory requirements, demonstrating a transparent and responsible asset management process that aligns with best practices and includes all major asset service areas, incorporating projected costs into the RM of Cornwallis long-term financial plan, reviewing all asset plans regularly and systematically to make certain that we manage our assets and that those assets are valued and depreciated in accordance with best practices. Inspecting assets regularly to ensure agreed upon service levels are maintained and to identify asset renewal priorities. Using asset management data, including life cycle costs, to inform long-term financial plans, set annual budgets, and to make purchase decisions. The related documents will be our official community plan, asset management strategy, community strategic plans, long-term financial plans. Responsibility. Councilors are responsible for adopting the policy, allocating resources, and providing high-level oversight of the delivery of the RM of Cornwallis asset management strategy and plans. The council is also responsible for ensuring that organizational resources are used appropriately to maintain sustainable service delivery. Chief Administrative Officer has overall responsibility for developing an asset management strategy, plans, and procedures, and reporting on the status of and effectiveness of the asset management within the RM. Review date. The policy has a life cycle of 4 years or less at the discretion of the current council.
Mr. Chairperson, I'll be the mover. The document did open up, so thanks to the CEO for reading it.
We'll need a seconder then.
And
Anybody wish to speak to that?
Yeah, just for the audience, we got a grant, basically to the cost of work. I'll back up. We're legislated to
Yes.
put this plan in place, okay? So there's the first thing. We basically were given a grant to help us out with this. This is what you always hear me say, high performance companies and smaller companies. We've got 2 business people here tonight, maybe even more, actually, there's more, I'm sorry. To run your business, you've got to know what you have inventory. At the 6 to 7 o'clock meeting, just for the audience, we're replacing 6 culverts. There's probably a lot of taxpayers out there that don't know how many culverts we got. At the end of this process, we will know exactly how many culverts, bridges, stop signs, you name it. So there's a working document out there that we know what we own, what we have. The key to this is you can budget better because now you can, if there's 75 culverts out there. So to me, it was music in my ears because that's the company I work for. They go out 5, 10 years on a lot of this stuff, life cycles. The lady the individual, the manager of that company that gave a 2-hour presentation, did a great job. She was talking life cycles. That's music to my ears. The business people sitting here in front of us, they got equipment in their yards. It's got a life cycle. You better project and budget accordingly. This will, I think, not only help this council and future councils, but tool to look at things a little bit different. That folks, we need to basically look out into the future. We got infrastructure to get more. I think it's a great thing. I'm excited to basically get this process rolling.
Anybody else wish to speak to that? I will call for the question. All in favor?
okay, now we're at the asset management team, terms of reference. And
It's
not-
opening up.
It's
Now,
opening?
Mr.
Okay.
Chairperson, that's the one that opened up for me. Be it resolved that we hereby adopt the following of the asset management team terms of reference for the rural municipality of Cornwallis. The purpose, the asset management team consists of volunteers chosen by council and of members of council. The purpose of the AMT is to provide insight, gather information, and otherwise support the development and implementation of the rural municipality of Cornwallis asset management plan. Scope of work. Council, as part of the due process, maintain authority and final decision making regarding all aspects of the asset management plan. The scope of work for the AMT is to actively assist in planning exercises, recommends priority for asset repair and replacement, supports community engagement, attends meetings as required during the development stage and then annually prior to budget. The administrator schedules and coordinates AMT meetings or delegates the duty, takes and distributes minutes, provides resources needed to support AM planning legislation. And what's that?
We need a mover for that?
Sam moved.
Oh, sorry, a seconder, I meant to say. Anybody else wish to speak to that?
Yeah, it's part and parcel with the first motion.
Exactly.
I think this motion basically will be calling out to people in the community to help us with this. There's a lot of strength out there. We need to draw from them. There's business people, but we will get to help us with some how to run a business more efficient and better long term. So I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, exactly. I will call for the question. All in favor?
Item 11.7, Meadows of Chater request for the extension of the water line.
11.7.
Yeah.
Keep my fingers, oh, it opened up. I'll make a motion. Whereas a request has been received from Peter Tynes, Meadows of Chater, to extend the water line to service lot 23. And whereas the developer Meadows of Chater is responsible for the serving cost of the property line for lot 23, and whereas Peter Tynes, Meadows of Chater, has requested that the rural municipality of Cornwallis coordinate the works and invoice Meadows of Chater for the same. Now therefore be it resolved that the rural municipality of Cornwallis does hereby approve the request for Peter Tynes, Meadows of Chater, and will coordinate the works and invoice Meadows of Chater for all the costs associated for the extension of the potable water line.
We'll need a seconder for that. Anybody wish to speak to that?
Yeah, we got a lot of empty lots out there. The water lines, there's 3 lots not serviced. The water lines are on both ends. So I just, the developer has been dealing with the CEO. There's another lot sold out there and without water. The hydrant line is there, but no water. So he's requested the CEO to work with Burns Mindell and probably Tri-Wave to connect the 4-inch water line. So the 3 lots can be serviced. Get another house built.
Anybody else wish to speak to that? Call for the question. All in favor?
Inquiries.
Yes. People are probably watching and see if I've communicated that Whiten Road. There's a, I wouldn't say a complaint, a concern brought in. I don't like to use the word complaint in a condition like that. They brought an undrivable road almost on Whiten Road. So I'm just wondering if you, the CEO, can give the audience who live on Whiten Road an update what's happening outside the rain.
Yeah, well, the rain is the
Yeah.
problem.
Okay. Probably the CEO did.
Yeah, so Public Works did begin getting that road prepared. And then 1 millimeter of rain that was forecast turned into much more. And I believe that that was probably transfer station open day that those pictures were taken. So yeah, as soon as we can get some dry weather, then we'll be back on the roads as soon as we possibly can to get them back.
And
Okay.
was there not some gravel put on there?
There
before the
was,
rain?
yeah, well, they had started preparing it, yeah,
right,
so,
right.
yeah.
The next one, Mr. Chairperson, is also on White Road. Our transfer station is on the almost the very south end. I think people know where it is. We got people that are really communicating, because I'm not out there every week, or when things go a little bit sideways out there. We've got people that just text Dawn and myself with the concerns. The waste management truck is using white. Can we put in a request to them? It worked before.
Yeah.
Take it down Curry's Landing to Higgins, and then they drive right into the dump. It takes that dust, and that Curry's Landing is a truck route. So let them, and the same to the Westman Salvage. I think Westman Salvage is doing that.
Yeah,
They're using the
Yeah.
white or the Curry's Landing road. So that's good if we can.
We did communicate that with Overland already, yeah.
For the people out there, the pavement repairs, we've got the quotes. They're through the roof. We're gonna do our best bet. I know there's people probably watching out there. There's a lot of asphalt out there that needs to be taken care of. Just in perspective, we got some preliminary numbers to repair what's out there, just that's over $200,000. It was only $29,000 budgeted, so we'll have to make some cautious decision, prioritize which ones need to be done, and the crack sealing. Yeah. And lease budget. Okay, can we get administration to look into outside of the existing waste contract? Open it up to everybody. What would it cost to put a recycle bin? We would have to get approval at the white, just recycle for now, and maybe even out here. I think people basically were amazed how much revenue we're generating from recycling.
Recycle.
It would encourage. Again, let's get the cost for a recycle bin at the mailboxes, I believe we got requested, and one out here to see what it is, and because there's a lot of people going to the city of Brandon at the, I'm gonna call it the Keystone, I don't know the naming rights anymore. They're putting it in there, we're losing that revenue, and I think, let's see what it costs.
At the mailboxes and.
Yeah, on the corner of Veterans Way and White Road, just on the north side. Just see what, try it for a month and see if the bin pays for itself. And
Yeah, I'll get those.
actually, it might help us because it might not have to go to White.
It'll take some of the traffic off.
Traffic.
Take some of the traffic off.
That's all.
Anything else? Anybody else got anything
Did I forget?
under inquiries? You
May
sure
I?
can.
I received an email from one of our residents with concerns regarding the people taking their garbage to Whiten Road in unsecured loads. So we have actually posted on our website asking people and reminding them to please ensure that they have their loads secured as they travel to the transfer stations. In the same email was also a concern and request about notifying the pit owners for the spraying. So we are working on those letters right now, and we'll send them out directly from the office to get that taken care of.
Is there anything else under inquiries?
Well, actually, I'll look for the recycle bin. The only concern is you put them out in remote places, we might get the black garbage bags in there. Let's think about Grand Valley too. Just a thought. I mean, we pay for the bin, if the revenue offsets the rental, we can make a few bucks as long as it pays for it.
You can go by the well there.
Yeah, by the well, I think we did get one email. So, and any other places that people hear me talking, basically get Donna or email to Donna.
It would be nice to have one on the south side, but I don't know where you put it.
Yeah,
We could put it by the well. 34th, but do you want
Where
to do this?
is-
There's so much
well,
traffic already.
I know,
I'd be scared of it being vandalized.
yeah. There's that about it.
the only caution, right now, I'd like to see what the costs are. We used to have, before we had the garbage pickup and shade of the dumpsters, that thing caught fire many times. That's a good point to bring it up as a chairperson. Let's try it on a short-term basis, see what the data shows us. And instead of signing a 5-year deal or whatever.
Yeah, for sure. Just
No,
to get some history.
just having said that, what do they do up at Meadowbrook?
Mr.
Is there a
Chairman.
recycle spot
Yeah.
there?
Oh,
Yeah.
Big bins. Oh, yeah.
And get the money for that?
The Meadowbrook recycling, we don't see any of those numbers because it's all done privately there. So unfortunately, we don't get the goods from there. Yeah.
All depends on how far your location is to site.
Mr. Seniors, speaking on recycle, this is the final year of waste
contract.
management,
Yes.
and I've received numbers of texts, the displeasure of the service out there. I think just to be open-minded, we've talked about that before. In the next contract tender, really have to put a performance clause in there because there's no communication on their behalf. Maybe we're missing the communication. There's many times I come home from work, well, why isn't recycling picked up? I don't know. So I think something for the audience to hear. It's a challenge. It was a 5-year contract.
Yes.
It's the end of this.
It is the
And
end.
there's
Did
a,
we ever get some numbers back from,
Yes, we have. So we've compiled those into a
Okay.
spreadsheet as well,
Oh,
so
awesome.
that it will give you guys a more informed decision which direction we wish to go. So,
okay,
yeah. So we have that as well
Okay.
going forward. Yeah.
okay,
yeah, Mr. Chairman, actually, it's all about this recycle to make things a little bit more efficient. We should reach out to the one company that's currently doing in Grand Valley. It's my understanding he's reasonable when he takes it to the city. Joey. I talked to him once and I encouraged him to come as a
Yeah.
delegation.
He's never I don't.
Yeah, when I talked
not
to
sure how to
him,
get a hold of him.
he was willing to go out even into rural areas for the same cost that he's charging these people out there, and I couldn't believe what he's charging. Now, when he phoned me, fuel prices weren't at $2.20. It would be nice to, I don't have his phone number, there's people in Grand Valley, if they're listening. If you happen to have Joey's phone number, send it to Donna or myself, and we'll ask him to come as a delegation. Because maybe we can, I'm always saying we should maybe
Broaden his service.
broaden the service to relieve the traffic at our transfer station. Yeah. Less chance of basically something happening there. So,
All right, we're moving on.
yeah.
Motion to adjourn.
Mover,
I'll second.
seconder. Call for the question, all in favor. Thanks, everybody, for coming.
Yeah, thank you for hearing me.
I'm sorry that unless you're a delegation, I'm sorry that it interrupts the flow,
I totally understand.
but it's